Solving a system of linear equations in two variables means to find the values of the two variables satisfying the two equations together. If we have a system of linear equations in two variables as follows: a x plus b y equals m, c x plus dy equals n. Then we solve the system with doing the following steps. First of all, we find the determinant of coefficients like that: a coefficient of x, b coefficient of y, c coefficient of x, d coefficient of y. This is called the coefficient determinant. The first column is coefficient of x in the first equation, coefficient of x in the second equation. Second column, b is the coefficient of y in the first equation, d is the coefficient of y in the second equation. This is called the determinant of the coefficients, denoted by delta. This is small triangle, it's called delta. Secondly, we find another determinant, delta x. We change the first column with m and n. We put m, n here, b, d here. Thirdly, we find delta y. We change b and d with m and n. We have now three determinants: delta, delta x, delta y. To find the value of x, we divide delta x by delta. To find the value of y, we divide delta y by delta. Delta x, we find delta x by multiplying md minus bn. We find delta y by multiplying an minus mc. If delta equals 0, we can say that the system of equations has an infinite number of solutions or has no solutions. The following examples show the previous steps. Example 1. Solve each of the following equations by using Cramer's rule. The first equation, 6x minus 5y equals negative 23. The second equation, 3x plus 3y equals 16. Okay. The first step, we find delta. Delta is the determinant of the coefficients. Coefficient of x here 6, here 3, here negative 5, here 3. We can solve this determinant. 6 times 3 equals 18 minus negative 5 times 3 equals negative 15. Minus minus means plus. 15 equals 33. This is delta. The second step, delta x. We change the first column, pi, negative 23 and 16. Negative 23, 16, negative 5 and 3. we can find the value of the determinant. Negative 23 times 3 minus negative 5 times 16 equals 11. Delta y equals, we change the y column 6 and 3, we change the y column by negative 23 and 16. We find the determinant 6 times 16 minus negative 23 times 3 equals 165. Finally, to find the x, we divide delta x by delta. 11 by 33 equals 1 over 3. We can find y by dividing delta y over delta. That means 165 over 33 equals 5. So we can find the solution set of the system of equations equals ordered pair 1 over 3 and 5. First of all, we should order each of the following equations: 2x plus 2y, 2x plus 2y, v minus z equals 1. The second equation, three x plus 5y plus 2z equals 8. The third equation, negative x plus 2y plus 3z equals 1. So we can say that delta equals 2, 3, negative 1, 2, 5, 2, negative 1, 2, 3. By using calculator, we can find the value of delta equals 22. We find delta x we find delta y, we find delta z. Okay, delta x, we change the coefficient of x. We put 1, 8, 1 instead of it. 1, 8, 1, 2, 5, 2, negative 1, 2, 3. We can find the value of delta x, 66. Delta y, we change the y column. We put instead of y 1, 8, 1 and find the value delta y equals negative 22. Delta z, we change the column of z. Okay, we write 2, 3, negative 1, 2, 5, 2. We change this column 1, 8, 1. We find the value of delta z equals 44. At last, we can find x equals delta x over x equals delta x 66 over delta 22 equals 3. Y equals delta y over y equals negative 22 over 22 equals negative 1. Z equals delta z over z equals 44 over 22 equals 2. We can write the solution set x and y and z 3, negative 1 and